Good evening, you're listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Zahrah Zannah. Today is the 1st of August, 2022. And now the news in full. There seems to be no end in sight for the ongoing strike action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, as the lecturers extend their industrial action by another 4 weeks. ASUU President Professor Emmanuel Osadeke disclosed this today in a statement he issued after an emergency National Executive Committee meeting of the association at the universities of Abuja on Sunday. He said the decision was to give the government enough time to resolve all outstanding issues with the lecturers. The statement read that after extensive deliberations, noting the government's failure to live up to its responsibilities and speedily address all the issues raised in the 2020 federal government and ASUU Memorandum of Action, within the additional 4 weeks rollover strike period declared on 14th of March 2022, NEC resolved that the strike be rolled over for 4 weeks to give government more time to satisfactorily resolve all the outstanding issues. Meanwhile, staff of National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, today suspended their 6-week-old strike nationwide. The workers are members of the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria. The vice chairman of the union, Idzi Isua, confirmed the development during the union's congress this morning. Mr. Isua said the union resolved to suspend the strike following an agreement entered with the management. The union embarked on strike on the 21st of June 2022 to protest, amongst other things, poor welfare packages and unpaid promotion arrears. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, says no uniform minimum National Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME score for any of the tiers of tertiary institutions, and neither does JAMB decide any such requirement for any institution. The board made this known in Abuja today by the board head, Public Affairs and Protocol, Dr. Fabian Benjamin. Benjamin said the board did not and had never determined any uniform national UTME score, otherwise known as cutoff mark, by the general public for any tertiary institution. He further said that before the admission exercise would commence, a policy meeting was usually held with all the heads of the institutions in attendance and chaired by the Minister of Education. According to him, at this meeting, the admission guidelines, which include recommendations for individual institutions and their preferred minimum admission scores, are presented and deliberated upon and not JAMB. He, however, said there was nothing like a national minimum UTME score for all universities, polytechnics, or colleges of education, as it was only individual institutions which set their minimum entry scores based on their peculiarities. And on sports, Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dari, has promised a cash reward as an encouragement to a 16-year-old Nigerian, Yene Obong Essien, for finishing second at the Champion of Champions World Golf Invitational. Hawa Adam Kiawa has details of this and other sports updates.
Ian Egbong-Essien created an enviable record at the Champion of Champions World Golf Championship Invitational in Northern Ireland by finishing as the first runner-up. The teenager competed in the 16 to 19 years category between July 26 to 28, 2022 at the Invitational tourney. Essien played on two challenging courses, the Faldo course and the Castle Hume course at the Lawn and Resort in Enniskillen, Fermanagh, Northern Ireland. The courses have hosted several PGA tournaments played by some of the world's best golfers, one of whom is Rory McIlroy, world number 2, who played at the recently concluded British Open. Another update after several months of uncertainty that has shrouded Nigeria's Africa Cup of Nations double-header clashes against Guinea-Bissau. The Confederation of African Football on Sunday confirmed that the games between the two countries have been postponed. The second phase of the AFCON qualifiers was originally scheduled for September, but it suffered a postponement with the 2022 World Cup in Qatar holding for the first time in the latter part of the year, between November and December. According to a statement released by the African body, match days 3 and 4 that were scheduled for September have now been pushed to March 2023 to allow African teams that have qualified for the 2022 World Cup to prepare adequately. Meanwhile, the Federation of International Football Association FIFA has celebrated Joe Aribo's wonder goal in Southampton's pre-season defeat in Villarreal. The Nigerian international took the ball from inside Southampton half and dribbled past 5 Villarreal players before slotting the ball into the net. The World Soccer ruling body posted a video of the sublime goal on their Twitter handle with the message. Similarly, thousands of people waved flags and cheered in London's Trafalgar Square as England's Euro 2022 winning team was celebrated by a big crowd today. England beat Germany 2-1 in extra time at Wembley to seal their first victory in a major women's football tournament last night. The team appeared on stage with manager Sabrina Wingman, lifted the trophy in front of the crowds and sang a rendition of Sweet Caroline. Hawa Adam Kiawa, Freedom Radio.
Global News is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can...
Sabuwar wayar Samsung Galaxy A73 nake son saya.
Samsung sun shirya garabasar musamman da kowa da kowa a wannan watan. Za a samu raguwar naira 25,000 a farashin wayar Galaxy A73 da kike matukar so. Kuma za a iya samun ragin a farashin wayoyin A53, A33, A23, A13, A03 da A03 Core. Me kike nema ne?
Takalmi na mana, na nufi shagon Samsung mafi kusa. Kar a banni a baya.
A hanzarta maza a je a samu wayar a amintattun shagunan Samsung mafi kusa. Ku ci moriyar garabasar Samsung Promo. Gasar na gudana ne daga 4 zuwa 31 na watan Yuli na 2022. Hanzarta kan hajojin su kare.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, has kicked against renewed attempts by the federal government to add a 5% excise duty to telecommunication services. When implemented, this will bring the total tax telecom consumers pay for telecom services to 12.5%. He disclosed this while speaking in Lagos at the ongoing exhibition organized by the Nigerian Office for Developing the Indigenous Telecom Sector, an agency domiciled in Nigerian Communications Commission. According to him, the telecom sector already contributes a lot to the Nigerian economy, and adding more taxes could impact negatively its growth. He urged the government to consider taxing other sectors of the economy that are not contributing to nation development. For tomorrow's weather forecast in some cities in Nigeria and parts of Niger Republic.
Kano tomorrow morning is expected to have thundery showers and gentle breeze at 22 degrees Celsius. A later sunny interval and gentle breeze at 24 degrees Celsius. Kaduna will experience similar weather condition at an average temperature of 21 degrees Celsius. A later increase to 22 degrees Celsius. Katsina will have light rain showers and light wind at 23 degrees Celsius. A later give way to sunny and gentle breeze at 25 degrees Celsius. Abuja will experience thundery showers and light wind at 22 degrees Celsius. A later change light cloud and light wind at 24 degrees Celsius. Lagos will experience partly cloudy sky and light wind at an average temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. A later give way to sunny interval and light wind at 25 degrees Celsius. Maradi and Zindar in Niger Republic will experience partly cloudy sky and light wind at an average temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. A later give way to light cloud and gentle breeze at 27 degrees Celsius. Umulkar Abakar Ungogo, Freedom Radio.
On the foreign scene, the first shipment of Ukrainian grain since the Russian invasion in February left the port of Odessa today under a landmark deal to lift Moscow's naval blockade in the Black Sea. Muhammad Sani Uba reports.
United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres, who brokered the plan with Turkey, welcomed the announcement, while Kyiv said it will bring relief for the world if Moscow held up its side of the accord. The 5-month halt of deliveries from war-torn Ukraine, one of the world's biggest grain exporters, has contributed to soaring food prices, hitting the world's poorest nations especially hard. Officials said the Razoni cargo ship registered in Sierra Leone was making its way through a special cleared corridor in the mine-infested waters of the Black Sea with 26,000 tons of mines on board. But Russian strikes on the Odyssey port the day after the deal was signed sparked outrage from Ukraine's allies and caused doubt over the accord. According to a UN statement, United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres warmly welcomed the departure today of a first ship carrying Ukrainian grain under a plan to lift Russia's naval blockade, a spokesperson said. The Secretary General hopes that this will be the first time of many commercial ships moving in accordance with the initiative signed, and that this will bring much-needed stability and relief to global food security, especially in the most fragile humanitarian context. Meanwhile, at least 16 people were killed in 2 midweek attacks in northeastern Mali by suspected jihadists on encampment of nomadic tribesmen. Aslan on motorbikes who came into the camp shot at people indiscriminately from close range, then take away their livestock, said a source close to the authorities in Manaka, the region near the Niger border where the attacks happened. The first attack targeted at nomadic camp about 50 kilometers from the region's capital, also called Menaka. 12 people were killed. In the other attack, armed men targeted another camp at Inaka Tadiriente, killing 5. Leaders of the Tuareg nomadic community posted on social networks in recent days of massacres of civilians by the Islamic State in the Greater Sahara, affiliated to the Islamic State group, which operated in the border regions between Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Muhammad Sanu Uba, Freedom Radio.
And on business, Muhammad Abba Abdullahi has updates.
Association of Beirut the Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, has cautioned the federal government against policies that can worsen the impact of upward inflationary trend on the populace. APCON gave this warning in its quarterly economic review of the second quarter of the year 2022, noting the severe impact of the sharp raising in commodity prices by the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing Russia war in Ukraine. The association stated that Nigeria needs to balance fiscal sustainability with the need to mitigate the effect of this overlapping crisis on the poorest citizens. It also called on the federal government to prioritize its spending with emphasis on targeted relief for vulnerable populations to cushion the impact of higher inflation, weaker economic growth, and tighter financial conditions. Meanwhile, despite the compounding damage from the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia invasion of Ukraine, which has magnified slowdown in the global economy, the country's capital market activities remain positive in the first half of 2022, as both local and foreign investors on the Nigerian Exchange Limited, NGX, traded 831.83 billion naira worth of equities. 485.4 billion naira worth of equities was traded in the second quarter of the year, representing an increase of 40.11% when compared to 346.43 billion naira traded on the first quarter. The growth and value of equities market traded also reflected in volume as it gained 143.83% to 54.27 billion naira in the second quarter of 2022 from 22.26 billion naira reported in first quarter of 2022, while those on the boost rose by 8.5% to 320,778 in second quarter of 2022, 295,533 reported by the NGX for first quarter of 2022. Muhammad Abba Abdullahi, Freedom Radio.
And with that, we've come to the end of today's Global News. On behalf of the entire production team and I, Zahrah Zannah, thank you for listening.